Hi. This is Quest.
The
The
Adventure Game Podcast. That's my line. That's my
I know.
line.
I decided to step on it today.
Don't step on my line.
You know what I was just thinking about?
What? We just got
Uh,
here. So I just ran into the room. I'm out of breath.
Yeah.
I barely made it in time for recording. Ben, what have you been thinking about?
I just started thinking about adventure for the 2600 for the VGS.
Yeah? Yeah?
Did you ever beat that?
No, I think that was one of those games that was so inscrutable to me. Like, I put it up there with like the Indiana Jones 2600 game where it's just like, I know I'm moving something around on the screen,
Doesn't
but
the Indiana Jones 2600 game, doesn't that require you to use the second controller?
it may, and I didn't have a lot of friends. So that
Well,
may have
yeah,
been where I
no, it
just,
wasn't that you used it like that it needed a second player, is that
Mhm,
like the second controller, like
mhm.
you used it to like select things in your inventory or
Yes, that's
something.
right. I think that is how it worked. What I like to do with my second controller on my 2600 was chew on it
I was going to
because,
jokingly say chew on
yeah,
it.
because that rubber, like the rubberized coating on a 2600 controller, has a very pleasant mouthfeel. If you like chewing on pens or things like that, I can't recommend a 2600 controller strongly enough. This is
Um
my, you know how we always talk about what we like to eat at the beginning of the episode? I'm going to say 2600 controller is way up on my list.
I did what all right. So you had a 2600. Did you
Mm-hmm.
have did you have any other consoles of the 80s? Like
A
not
ColecoVision.
You had a Coleco. We had a Coleco as well.
Yeah.
Incredible joystick.
Yes, yes.
If you're
Nailed it.
unfamiliar with the Connecticut Leather Company's video game console, its controller, it was like a touch-tone phone with an extremely stiff and difficult to like move around knob up at the top,
Yes,
and
a
then
dial basically.
yeah, and then two little like side buttons on either side. Like it was
Mhm.
shaped like a remote control. And all like the touch tone phone numbers, like you would only use once, because at the very beginning when you like booted up a game, it would give you like an option of, it's like how many players and what the difficulty option is, and it's like select 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 or 9. And it's just like, this seems
Oh yeah.
it
Oh yeah.
was unbelievably unnecessary.
And there were lots of overlays for it. Like that was something that a lot of games get. Like I had some sort of game. I should look. I'm sure this would be easily discoverable. But I had like some kind of like space sim, Starfieldy kind of game for it that like had a special overlay that went over all those buttons
Uh-huh.
so you could control it. And I mean
So
that seemed
it did use it for
it did
the
use
game.
it for actual
Okay.
gameplay in that one, but generally speaking, yeah, it was just like, we're going to ignore that. You're going to use the terrible dial and two buttons to play a game on the worst controller imaginable, which is a shame because the system, quite nice.
It was a pretty nice system. It had a very good port of Frogger, which I
Mm-hmm.
played for hours and hours as a
That wasn't
child.
Sierra Frogger on the Coleco, was it?
I don't know if that was Sierra Frogger. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think they had.
I think that
Let's.
was their Froggers were mostly various different types of like home computers. Uh
Yeah, I think you may be right. Let's see here. I'm now on
maybe
Moby
an
Games. I'm looking at.
Atari 800, which was a computer. So I guess yeah. Um
For the TRS-80, a company called the Cornsoft Group developed Frogger. The
Great.
Cornsoft Group is an amazing name. Okay, here we have it. We have it. Sierra did the Atari 8-bit version.
Yeah.
So that would
Yeah.
be the piece, the
Yeah.
computer
Yeah.
Atari. Let's see here who did the Odyssey
And that
too.
probably moved over to what was the Atari console that was based off of their 8 bits? Was that
Was that
the
the 5200?
50? Might have been the 52 that had like Star Raiders on it.
Yeah, Parker Brothers did a lot of these, it looks like. Sierra did the PC booter, of course, of course. Yeah. Oh, wait, here, Commodore 64. Yeah, so it's like Sierra handled mostly the home computer market, which tracks.
Yeah.
That
The
makes perfect sense.
I played a lot of Frogger on the Coleco. Of course, I played the Donkey Kong, which was port, which was their killer app.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, there was this game called Lupin, which was not like
The
the
third?
thief. Yeah, not him. No, Looping, looping.
Mm-hmm.
Which was like you piloted like this little plane that was constantly in motion, like you couldn't slow it down. It was very
Ah.
difficult to maneuver.
Sounds like
Um,
America's airports right now.
oh, very good. I'm gonna jump right to it. I had a really great dinner.
Oh, tell me about your dinner.
Today I went.
Jump right to it.
Yeah, I'll jump. I'll jump right to the point of this podcast.
Just like we jumped straight onto recording.
I went to one of my favorite places here in Chicago, which is this uh, Middle Eastern burger joint called
Mm,
Ragadan.
mm,
And what it
mm.
is that the owner, like head chef of it, is like like he is a, I think, a first generation. Yeah, he's a first generation American from Jordanian parents. And when he was growing up, and this is just me reading their website now, it's like his diet was hamburgers and falafel.
Oh man,
And
that's
he
living the
was just
life.
like, I want to make a restaurant that's hamburgers and falafel. And you want to know
Okay.
what? It's a really good. And so what he does is like he'll make like these great falafel sandwiches, and he'll make these incredible
Hmm.
burgers. And sometimes he has stuff that is like kind of a little bit of a bridge between the two. Like
Oh
for
man.
example, and I didn't get this because I was like, I think this would put me right to sleep before I record a podcast. They have incredible milkshakes, and I was so,
Ooh.
they have a variety of them and they're all really good, but the one that I always get is they have a baklava milkshake,
Oh Ben.
and it's the
Yeah,
best
you
thing in
can't
the
have
world.
that. You can't
Yeah.
have that and record a podcast.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like, yeah, I mean, like 3 bites of baklava is like verging on too much. It's too wonderful and too sweet and too perfect. A
It's
milkshake in milkshake form?
yeah.
You gotta be kidding me.
So
That sounds
anyways,
amazing.
so this time I went to the burger side of the house, and I got the Oklahoma onion burger, which was
Mm.
excellent. And that's the burger, a shitload of caramelized onions,
Yes, yes,
really
yes.
really good,
Hmm.
American cheese. And then this is where we get the little mix here, za'atar mayo, which is really
Oh,
tangy, and it's got,
hello.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Ben, can I ask you a question? Are we incorporating like lamb or any other meats into the burgers, or are we strictly beef?
It says beef patty.
Okay, beef patty. There you
Yeah.
go.
But all right, next time you're here in Chicago, I'll take you here because this place kicks
Sign
ass.
me up.
It is
I love a good
one
burger.
of and I'll recommend this to anyone that's listening, if you're in Chicago or have the occasion to visit Ragadan in uptown Chicago, like the neighborhood of uptown Chicago.
Mhm.
Truly an exceptional little like a like little hole in the wall. Like I have not had a bad thing from there. Everything I've had
Yeah.
there is really really good. They have this tahini ranch fried chicken sandwich. Ooh,
Oh my gosh. That sounds amazing.
yeah.
That
So
sounds amazing.
that's what I had, and because I care about the integrity of this podcast, I didn't have a delicious milkshake.
That's right. Now, Ben, do you have a milkshake that you are like, is that why I keep seeing you ducking out of frame over and over again as we record?
No,
And
no.
yeah,
Yes, that's just cocaine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's
That,
the.
that
I mean,
keeps me awake.
you take the milkshake to come down. You take the bump to get back up to record. No, I
That's
get it.
right.
That's called the podcaster's delight, is what we call that.
Now, Jess, did you have anything interesting for your dinner or
I may have
recently?
had the least interesting dinner that
Oh,
you can have.
all right.
Okay, roasted chicken breast
All right.
and a salad.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. That's
Yeah,
that's a
there's not a lot of meat on the bone, ironically enough, with
was
that
it
one. Yeah.
good?
It was delicious. It
There,
was. I don't know, Ben. Are you an adherent to air frying? Are
I
you
don't,
an air fryer
you
guy?
know, I would have gotten because I love to cook and I love to get all sorts of shit for my kitchen.
Hmm.
I have too much. I have too
Yeah,
many fucking gizmos.
I understand. And I will say, Courtney and my beautiful wife, are in much the same boat. Like counter space is at a premium.
Yeah,
We can't just have one of everything, every gadget that the kitchen
yeah.
has to offer. The air fryer, we think we got our first one like 7 or 8 years ago when everybody was getting them.
Wow, that's pretty
And
early, I would say.
it is like the one thing that's stuck around. We use it almost every day, and I have to say, we did some bone-in, skin-on chicken breasts. You
Mm-hmm.
pop it in there for like 25 minutes, comes out with golden brown, crispy skin, just perfectly crisped up. I mean, this was like salt, pepper, cayenne,
Mm.
and I'm telling you, chicken's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a good bird.
Listen, I've been tempted many a time, but it's yeah, I'm just like, man, I got an
Easy,
instant pot, I
easy.
got a sous
Yeah.
vide, I got, like I've been and I use those things. I but it's like
Mhm.
all of them n- not enough like,
Yeah.
probably the kitchen gizmo that I use the absolute most other than like something like a blender, like I'm
Mhm.
not going to that that's a canonical gizmo
Yeah, you have to have that.
or like a
How else are you
kitchen.
gonna make your pina coladas?
That's right. Is a rice maker like to the
Yeah.
point now where I'm
Mhm.
like a rice maker might be a canonical like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I think a rice maker at this point deserves its space because for years I didn't get a rice maker because I was like I could just make rice in a pot. But you
Yeah,
want to
I
know
know the
what?
recipe.
Yeah, rice, water, heat.
Yeah, maybe a little salt. Yeah, I
I,
mean, salt to taste. Yeah,
that's
it works
a
pretty well.
very boring follow up to salt,
Yeah,
fat, acid, heat. It's
yeah.
rice, water, heat.
And you know what though? That's a pretty amazing combo. I love me some rice.
Yeah. But you know what
But
I love, Jess?
what?
Playing games. What have you been playing lately?
Oh, Ben, I am in the midst of my game of the year. I'm calling it now. I think, and this is bold with with 2 months to go in the year. A lot of
Sometimes you know it though.
a lot of people in the games industry won't lock in this early to game of the year, but here I am in
It's
mid-November,
also been
ready
a
to tell
good
you.
games year.
Yeah, I've barely played anything that came out this year, but what I have played is Dispatch. And Ben, I'm here to tell you and the listeners, this is the real deal. If you don't know Dispatch, the setup is it's a bunch of ex-Telltale developers. They are developing a Telltale-esque narrative adventure style game with lots of so-and-so will remember that moments and everything. So it's a familiar version of that kind of adventure game. The premise is it is a cartoon superhero workplace comedy. So you are a superhero who is down on his luck. You've had your super suit destroyed. You can no longer fight crime. You get recruited to be a dispatcher at a corporation that basically sells superhero insurance. You contract with them, and in turn, you can call them when you have like a break-in at your restaurant, and they will dispatch a superhero to help you. And you're put in charge of a group of misfit supervillains who are trying to get on the right track. They're trying their redemption arc, and you, as this down on your luck hero, are trying to mentor them into being heroes themselves. Let me tell you, Ben, it is ridiculously high production value. Like the quality of the animations, I mean, it is believable, like Saturday morning cartoon stuff, which is pretty remarkable to see. The animation is just smooth as butter. And then in addition to that, I mean, all the Telltale stuff that always works is very good. They've done a great job writing the characters. They're very sympathetic. They're very relatable. It's pretty funny. It's a little raunchy in kind of a fun way. It gets raunchy right, I feel like, in most cases so far. I'm only about halfway through the game. It's releasing episodically. But also it has this sort of mini game element of you actually have to do the dispatching on these calls. So you have to manage a team, you have to level up their stats, you have to decide who you're going to send on what mission and how to make sure the right hero gets sent to the right call. So all of that, I mean, it's such a weird combination of, on one hand, standard Telltale stuff, but then this kind of superhero sim built in. Honestly, I would almost just play the superhero sim part of it, the dispatching sim, if it were fleshed out a little bit more. I mean, that gameplay loop is very satisfying to me. Throw a Telltale game around it, and it's like catnip for me. This, when Star Trek Resurgence came out, you and I both said, it's like, man, this seems like a game that is so tailored to our interests, right? It's
Star Trek Resurgence, this, because was that made by, like, quote unquote Telltale, like the new Telltale, or no? Star Trek?
I don't think it was the new Telltale, but I think Telltale people were involved with it, if I recall.
It was made by Dramatic Labs.
Yeah. Well, they got that
I've
wrong.
never heard of. And it was founded by former Telltale folks, and you and I had such a negative opinion of that game.
Yes.
Because
we're both Trekkies, and we were so pumped. It's like we're Trekkies and adventure gamers. And we both are pretty warm to the Telltale style.
Yeah.
It's like this should have been, an easy win for us, and we both bounced off of it pretty hard.
Yeah, and well, what's crazy to me is that I'll read, I'll check, Star Trek fan stuff, is all that, and the reception, I think the reviews for Resurgence were kind of but when I read Trekkies online about it, they all seem to be pretty warm on the game, and it's
which surprises
very
me.
Bizarre to me because it's anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, that game should have been catnip to me also.
Right.
It wasn't. This game is right up my alley. I love superhero stuff. I love Telltale games. It's good stuff. If you enjoy Telltale style narrative adventures, or if the superhero genre is important to you, this is the game I always imagined maybe Superhero League of Hoboken was. But since then, I've gone to play Superhero League of Hoboken, and it's not the game I imagined it to be, looking at magazine ads and reviews all those years. I was like, this game looks perfect to me. I never saw it in a store, so I never played Superhero League. Dispatch is the game I think I imagined Superhero League of Hoboken to be. Go play Dispatch. What have you been playing, Ben?
So I've been playing, but I put in quotes. I picked up last week the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection.
Oh, so I know what you mean by played.
Yeah. So I'm going to add a proviso here. I have absolutely no particular interest in Mortal Kombat.
And why are you dressed like Kano right now?
Well, because it shows off my incredible body. I don't know. I don't even know how Kano was dressed.
I mean, it would have shown off your incredible body. You're good.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Good. But it's I was aware of it, and I certainly played it sometimes as a kid. Because
you were alive.
I'm a 90s kid. It was inescapable. And it was targeted.
And you were radical too. Yeah, I mean,
it was targeted specifically at my age group as someone was born in 1986, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not a fighting games person, never have been. Never learned any of the moves, just mashed buttons until I was dead, or the other guy was dead. but I'm less interested in Mortal Kombat than I am interested in Digital Eclipse's documentaries that
Yes.
they like and that they do with these collections, which they did with Atari, they did with Jordan Mechner's Karateka, and Jeff Minter's games and Tetris. And so this Mortal Kombat collection, which and I went and I played a couple of the Mortal Kombats, and I'm like, yep, still not for me. But like the documentary that comes with it, where you see like interviews with everybody that worked on it, and you see like lets you look at like notes, like design notes and photography and stuff like that, is a really interesting and fascinating story. And it does make me appreciate like this game that that like is again like is not as much of my interest, but it leads me to appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah.
It's also that it is a product of Chicago. Midway was based here. Like Williams Midway was based here in Chicago. Like I know exactly where their offices used to be. Like I've been by there many times.
You know where the toasty guy used to work?
Yeah. And also it's like Williams Midway used to be like the pinball company as well. And as well established on this podcast, I'm a massive pinball person. And so it's like the beginning of the story also has, it's like, yeah, we were the arcade people. We were like, or like the arcade cabinet people. That was a smaller thing. Our big business was the pinball. And so like you see like some of the people that they interview are like kind of pinball people, like people I know. Like, or it's like, Ed Boon, who's, one of the main creators of Mortal Kombat, worked as a programmer on pinball machines in the 80s before he moved over to like the arcade cabinets. And so like, like this is, it's local history, which is always interesting to me. It's arcade history, which is always interesting to me. And I get a little bonus, like, it's like, oh, wow, that's Steve Ritchie. I know who that is. He's the guy that designed the great pinball machine High Speed. And then also true of any, like, Digital Eclipse collection, they make sure to include a couple, like, bizarre and unplayable oddballs that are just kind of fun to see. Like, it's like, I appreciate in their collections, they usually put a little bit of trash in there.
You got the trash.
Which I really appreciate. I love
what is the trash this time around?
So
like, what trash are we talking? The
trash that they have in here is that they have, like, portable versions of Mortal Kombat. So they have the Game Boy version of Mortal Kombat 1, and I think 2. But, like, the Game Boy, like, Mortal Kombat 1 is just, like, dog shit. Like, you can't see anything, and like it's just it's just bad.
Do we
have
the whole roster? Is the whole roster there?
No, I don't think. I think you have a pretty limited. It also has like the Game Gear one. It has like this weird PlayStation 1 game that everybody hated. Like, I think it's like Mortal Kombat like Special Forces or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's supposed to be not very good. And it is, I will say though, that I did open it up, and it has the Genesis Mortal Kombat 1, which is like that was a rental. That was a regular rental for me, and so I realized playing it, I was like, to me, this is Mortal Kombat. I didn't actually play this in arcades that much. And so, like, when I played, like, the arcade version of it, I was like, wow, this looks so much better. And then I played, like, did they do anything to make, like, did they, like, up-res this? And then I played the Genesis version of it, and I was like, yeah, this is Mortal Kombat 1. It's exactly as I remember.
What I think's funny, like, for me, like, I was a Street Fighter kid. And, like, my parents literally bought me a Super Nintendo entirely so I could play Street Fighter 2 at home. Like it was like literally the only game I ever owned for my Super Nintendo. It was just an at-home Street Fighter 2 machine. Was all it was for me. And at the time, like I convinced myself that this Super NES port of Street Fighter 2 is indistinguishable in every way from the arcade version that I love. And I think this was just me, like, just lying to myself because I loved this Super Nintendo and this home version so much. And now when I go back in like these weird collections and stuff, and I load up Super NES version of Street Fighter 2, I'm playing on my little retro handheld or whatever. I'm just like, boy, this is really a poor imitation of the arcade game that I love so much. But at the time, just the thought of playing any Street Fighter 2 at home was fantastic. That was all I needed.
And another thing I really like about the Digital Eclipse collections is that you'll have like they usually make sure to have like it's like, you know, here's the original, the arcade version. Now here's a port and here's another port. And especially like from a period where like a port of a game could be so drastically different.
Yes.
It's actually like, you know, is it fun? No, but it's interesting to like see this early, like to like compare the SNES, the Genesis, and the arcade versions, like, you know, as a real dork. Like I just find it fast. Like I'm just like, oh, you know, oh, this is how curious, you know, like, and so yeah, like if you're just someone that is into like kind of like video game history and stuff like that, I'd recommend anything from Digital Eclipse. Now my understanding is that right now they're like the online play, like if you look at the reviews for the game, they're mixed on Steam. I think it's people pissed off about like the online multiplayer is not very good right now.
That is not going to affect me.
And yeah, that's exactly it. Like I'm just kind of like and so they say that they're working on it and working on building a lobby system and all that crap. Mm-hmm. And I'm just kind of like, if you're me and you're just like, I just want to look at these interesting curios and watch a bunch of videos of like old men going like, yeah, you know, I was on California Avenue in Chicago, Illinois. Actually, they're not that old. Like, but
but they might as well be.
You know, that like I find all that shit extremely interesting, and
you know,
maybe you do.
I know we've talked about it before on the Discord. I mean, I love these collections too, even for, you know, like games that I don't particularly care about. You know, like again, I've been tempted to buy this Mortal Kombat collection as someone who could kind of like take or leave Mortal Kombat myself. It's like I had my moment. Like everyone enjoyed Mortal Kombat in the 90s, but it's not a series I've kept up with. Even then, it wasn't my favoriteest thing in the world. But I know we've talked about this on the Discord before. It is my dream, before it's too late someday, to see some company do this with the Sierra or LucasArts catalog.
Well,
I think it would
have to be Digital Eclipse because they do such like the documentary stuff that they do is just so thorough and interesting.
And I'm guessing the cost to do that well would never justify the audience. It would never be justified by the audience it could reach. I mean, there are fewer people who are going to buy that Sierra collection than Mortal Kombat. We know this.
Well, yeah, but they did Jeff Minter, and that couldn't, you know.
That couldn't be a, yeah, I mean, this is true. This is I mean,
he probably owns all of those, whereas Microsoft owns all of the Sierra collection.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much longer, like, Jim Walls is going to be with us. We need to get this man on tape.
I think it would, I mean, you know, maybe it'd be nice to just ask for like one of the series.
Like Police Quest.
And it would have to be Police Quest because that's the most popular series of all of them.
Police are more popular today than ever.
But anyway, if you're going to ask me what the best one that they did is, it's Making of Karateka, even if you have no interest in that game.
Which I believe has been a game
spectacular.
you were playing that one week, I think, in an early episode of Quest, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. I definitely talked about the Tetris one.
Yeah.
I'm a sicko for the digital Eclipse. I buy them immediately. I think I love how they tell their tell history. And maybe one day they'll do it for games that I have a personal connection to.
Yeah, because imagine how fun that would be if you cared about the games that you were learning so much about.
Like, I've grown to really love Jeff Minter stuff.
Yeah.
It's gotten me interested in it. It's like, of course, like Atari 50, it's Atari games.
Well, I mean, that's ultimately the thing, though, is like, sure, the audience for like a Sierra version of this, or a LucasArts, I think a Sierra version might be more interesting, honestly.
Sierra would
I think we've documented LucasArts history more thoroughly along the way, but it has the potential. Those collections do have the potential to create new fans, or to create people that appreciate these works in a way they might not have otherwise. And so I guess this is me saying, I can promise you that nearly every Quest listener will buy this if you just produce it, Microsoft or whoever.
We have an email.
Oh, is this from Microsoft?
It's from Microsoft. We will do
They
it.
want me to be product lead on this?
No, it's from our friend. Yop. And it goes like follow. You could also email us at questquestpodcast@gmail.com. Hi, Ben and Jess. Your feature on Roberta Williams' Phantasmagoria made me think of this 1999 issue of PC Gamer. Jess, you might be familiar with this as a scholar of magazine stuff, where they identified the 25 world's best game makers. See pictures. He included some photos of this. Roberta was the only female designer selected. I seem to recall this at the time, even then.
Yes.
And other adventure gaming gods such as Ron Gilbert, Jordan Mechner, Tim Schafer, Hal Barwood, and Steve Marinsky also made the cut. Who would you select for a Quest edition of 25 game gods? That might be an episode. I don't know if 25 is a high number.
Yeah.
From the 6 named above, I'm not sure Hal Barwood would still be on the list. I absolutely agree with you on that, Yop. And then also, Yop asks, I'm very curious to learn how many listeners you have. My wife keeps making fun of me that I listen to this obscure podcast with only 5 listeners. Thanks, Yop.
My wife keeps making fun of me for recording this podcast with only 5 listeners, so I get it.
My boyfriend is very sweet and, supportive, so he hasn't made fun of me yet about it, but he will.
Not to your face.
Yeah. I would say we have about a dozen. About a gross.
About a gross.
Yeah.
We have a gross. I'm gonna say, I think you're airing low here. Just to give it a highball number, I'm gonna say 400,000. Yeah. And I think it's probably going to be somewhere
It's probably the WTF listeners that came over.
Yeah, well, yeah, we haven't had time for the metrics to catch all of those WTF.
It was very nice.
At the end of that last episode, Mark Maron interviews Obama. When Obama shouted out Quest,
God damn it, Jess, I was about to make this joke.
I can't believe we didn't get more listeners out of that. Is that just sort of like Obama's fading star, or does that say something about us?
I'm looking at this photo, and also I'm pretty sure I recognize Peter Molyneux in this.
This isn't the article that includes a caricature of Roberta Williams in a hot tub along with this one that has the classy everyone's sitting on couches in black and white.
It's the classy sitting on couches and they all look.
Now I shouldn't know this off the top of my head.
I see in here Gabe Newell, and I definitely see Will Wright and John Romero. I don't recognize everybody in here, but of those, not named.
I wonder who's the most of the moment one. Like the person who's just like, only in this month of PC Gamer's history could this guy have been sitting beside like Sid Meier or someone like that.
Oh yeah, where is Sid Meier? He's got to be in this, right? I
Sid
don't
Meier's
see him
gotta be
in
there,
this
right?
photo, but he's got to be like
Because they chunk it up into a few different photos of like
Yeah.
smaller groups. Again, I should not be able to visualize this in my head, but here we are. I'm not looking at this. I'm just remembering this article.
Yeah, let's see here. Brian Reynolds is in it, and I think Bruce Shelley. Because I at the top here, and I'm not going to look this up, and I never will. At the top here, in this it has a bunch of last names here. So we got Warren Spector. There's a couple last names I don't recognize. Sperry, who's that?
No clue.
Yeah. But Marinsky is interesting because it's like definitely. And I have immense respect for Steve Marinsky. I think he's a remarkable designer. But it's like,
Oh, yeah.
his best work was in the 80s, right? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
not to say that he didn't do good things in the 90s, but like, people still talk about like A Mind Forever Voyaging today.
Yeah.
They're not really talking about Spacebar. Anyway, and also like, anyway, yeah. Who's Sperry? Are you looking this up, Jess? Because I see you like kind of
No,
looking this up.
I was I was trying to think of who else would be on my list. I was like trying to think of other women that would go on this list at the time. Like I think Danielle Buttonberry would be
I was
an obvious choice.
Yeah, Danny Buttonberry. She would probably be like that was immediately who jumped to mind.
Yeah. Yeah, that one feels like a no-brainer. I mean, Mule, Cities of Gold, too many other things to mention along the way.
She had unfortunately already passed at that point.
That's true. So I guess
she passed away in 1998. Like especially like with some of the people. Anyway, Yop asked
Jim Walls is in there.
Who
right?
did he put? Jim Walls?
Was he on there? See if he's on any of those couches sitting beside anybody. Just scan it quickly.
Yeah, let me scan. I don't see Jim.
Do you think he just wasn't available for the shoot, so they cut him from the feature?
Yeah, I think so. All right. Okay. You know what? Let's revisit this. This might be an episode.
Because this does feel like an episode.
Yeah.
And we're always thinking about hashtag content here at Quest, the Adventure Game Podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's our emails. And so, Jess, this week, last week we indulged your little Space Quest little thing. You have
and I appreciate
website.
that. I mean, that really did. That meant a lot to me.
Yeah. 30 years, whatever.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, there aren't a lot of 30-year-old websites, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, who gives a shit? And so this week I thought we would be able to talk about a game I really feel passionate about, which is Lighthouse, the Dark Being. By Sierra. So, it's a Sierra game. So, I
read about it in Interaction. I mean, like what I loved about it was like Ken Williams was sure this is going to be the game to take down Myst.
It has a beautiful cover.
Yeah. Oh, it does. It does. It looks like it could be the sequel to Myst, but we know that's Riven. But Ben,
what?
I got to tell you.
What?
I know that you played through this.
I played all of Lighthouse, the Dark Being.
Yeah, and I know I was getting constant texts. It's like, you won't believe this fucking game, man. This is amazing.
I'm amazed by Lighthouse, the Dark Being.
Yeah, no, and like, I get it, but you aren't seeing what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is a deluge of emails. They're being sent directly to my personal address.
Uh-huh.
Because a lot of readers here, I mean listeners, I read the emails, they listen and send the emails. I'm the reader. But a
You're a real
lot,
reader rabbit.
yeah, that's what they call me. But a lot of our listeners have been saying it's like, you can't leave us hanging. You can't talk about Space Quest 1 and not talk about Space Quest 2. It's the game that takes
You're
everything
having
you
a little
loved.
difficulty holding your conviction with that
No,
sentence there, Jess.
it's the game that takes everything you love about Space Quest 1 and gives it straight back to you.
Jess, I'd like to play a little game with you.
Okay. Is it Space
Uh,
Quest 2?
yeah. We're gonna talk about Space Quest 2. Fine. I'll forget everything that I know about Lighthouse, the Dark Being.
I feel bad that you bought a big box copy of it.
Yeah, well, I love the cover. It's a gorgeous cover.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play two tunes for you,
Okay.
and I want you to tell me which one is Space Quest 2 and which
Okay.
one is Space Quest 1. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, sorry. I love the bridge.
Yes, it's
Pretty
very good. Mark Crow,
Yeah.
man.
All right. Okay. Okay. So enough of that. All right. Now here is another one. This is good radio.
Yeah, it is. This is good radio. I'm listening so hard. Ben.
I know.
And you know
there's
what? It's a trick
intense,
question. They are both the Police Quest theme. This is Space Quest 1.
This one.
Yeah.
And so the first one I played, this one is Space Quest 2.
Yes.
You're correct.
All right. There we go. There we go. You see, this is why they pay me the big bucks. This is why they call me the Space Quest historian.
I've always called you that, and I love your YouTube videos. Now, and I want to be clear. So I recorded those off of ScumVM with the same audio settings for both. It is
There,
interesting. Because I was like, I I thought that they would have just used the same tune for both
I think if you
because it's the
asked me if they
same.
use the same tune, I would have said yes. I think I
Yeah.
would have said it's like, yeah, that's the same song. Yeah.
And so today when I was preparing for it, I was like, huh, I wonder. And so I recorded it and listened to both, and I was like, oh, they are slightly different? Question mark.
Interesting. Interesting.
So I
I
don't
mean,
know.
like in my head, the Space Quest 2 theme has more of a march to it. It has like a peppy march tempo going that just like picks it up a little bit. But I think again, if you'd asked me beforehand, I would have said it's the same song.
Now join us next week, and we're going to, and I'll play the Space Quest 3 theme. Will you be able to discern the Space Quest 3 theme?
Well, what you should do
These-
is play that alongside a bunch of other big Supertramp hits and see if I can pick out which one's the Space Quest 3.
Yeah,
thing.
like
Yeah.
I'm gonna play Crime of the Century and
Yeah.
Goodbye Stranger.
And the Space Quest 3 theme, and I have to guess which
Yeah.
one was Space Quest 3.
All right, Space Quest 2.
Yeah.
What's the walk me through it?
Okay, Space Quest 2. Roger Wilco.
In what year? 88?
87. 87. It's
One
tail,
year.
tail end of 87. It's going to be
Okay.
like November 87.
Okay.
Roger Wilco, after achieving great fame at the end of the first Space Quest, receiving the Golden Mop for saving the galaxy, is once again humbled and returned to his roots as a sanitation engineer, this time aboard an orbiting space station. He is back to doing his old thing when he is kidnapped by Sludge Vohal's goons. Who is Sludge Vohal? He is the guy who engineered the whole Sarian encounter in the first place. He sets up this plan to steal the star generator. Roger foils this plan, and Vohal is, intent on revenge. So he sentences Roger to his mines on the planet Labion. Roger is sent there. The skimmer that he is taking to his doom crashes unexpectedly. Roger is now loose and trying to figure out a way to survive the dangerous planet Labion. He is then going to set off for Vohal's asteroid, where he stumbles upon Sludge Vohal's plan to release a horde of genetically engineered door-to-door insurance salesmen.
Vohal
He
says
reveals
that
it to him early in the
he
game.
reveals that immediately
Yeah.
at the very start of the game. He
That's
says
right.
that.
Yeah, this is his evil plan to destroy everything. Because how else would you?
And so he's releasing what again? It's like
Uh,
door-to-door insurance salesman?
Door-to-door insurance salesman. You know how you hate when people come to your door trying to sell you insurance?
Yeah, nothing irritates me more.
Yeah, it's that. Only imagine that on a galactic scale.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
And they're on
exactly.
the cover of the game, if I recall correctly, right?
They are.
Space
And
Quest 2
beautiful. Yeah, I think
box.
it's a Ken doll that they have dressed up and taken photos of.
Oh, really?
Yes. Again, this is another, I think, Mark Crow art project of compositing what is a papercraft Space Quest logo. He's made that out of paper.
Oh, really?
Yes. The Space Quest logo that appears on the Space Quest 1 and 2 box is a giant papercraft model. You can actually see it hanging in the promotional videos for Space Quest 3 in the two guys' office at Sierra.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was the actual three-dimensional papercraft model that they built and photographed. And I believe those were Ken dolls that served as our door-to-door insurance salesman.
So I have to tell you, and I think I've said this to you before, a massive disappointment to me playing Space Quest 2 was that like I felt like that was going to be a large part of the game.
The
Like
insurance
that you
salesman
have to
bit?
deal with these like because there's something really funny about these guys on the cover. Like
Yeah.
you see like these little pods filled with these Ken dolls that are kind of dressed like Mormon missionaries a little bit. Like they've got like a white a shirt and a black tie, and then they have like a maroon jacket.
Yes.
And like there was something that was funny to me as a kid, uh that like about like the prospect of like you have to deal it's like, oh, what could be worse than these like nondescript men,
Yeah.
that
It
you have to handle.
it could have been fun. I mean, I imagine you get an opportunity for, the kind of jokes that like later Monkey Island would center around, a salesman like Stan.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah,
even Space Quest when you get to Monolith Burger in Space Quest 3 and you're making your order and
right,
it has like the yes options for whether or not you want
yes,
to, do a combo and other things like that. Like
yeah,
there's room to have fun with this idea of a pushy salesperson, and the
right.
game has no interest in that
Yeah,
angle.
the
It
the
is
the game, they're on the cover, they're in the plot, like they're in the stated plot of the game. And
yes,
like as a kid, I'm like, I can't wait to deal because I think like the comedy of it to me as a kid was it would be like, oh, you have to deal with these really annoying guys. And it's like when you're a kid, everything's kind of annoying to you. So it's like
yeah,
the bad guy is like these annoying adults. Like
ugh,
I was just like, oh, this is hilarious, according to the box.
yeah,
And um, and then the game's like, no, we're gonna deposit you on this jungle planet that will kill
yes,
you immediately. All right, bye. Like,
yeah, and I mean, it's not to workshop Space Quest 2 right off the bat, but I think one of the criticisms I have of this game is that the like final act aboard Vohal's asteroid feels pretty empty. I mean, it's basically riding an
oh yeah,
elevator around. and just gathering a bunch of supplies and then going on to face Vohal. There's really not a ton going on. It would have been a great place to throw in some encounters with some of these insurance people. Like, wouldn't that have been a fun,
Yeah, like
you
maybe
know?
maybe they have like laser guns, and so like
Yeah,
you see these like friendly looking guys with like, because they're a
yeah,
bad guy. If I recall correctly, there's bad guys that will just shoot you
yeah,
on the asteroid.
and they're robots and cleaning droids
Or
and things.
maybe like the ape men could be the insure, like I don't know, like
Yeah, I mean that's a funny concept too. If like they're ape men insurance salesmen, I don't know. I wish I will agree. This is something I'd never thought of until you brought this up, but it's not a bad concept. I mean, I think part of this is the story of the development of the game too, because I think when Scott and Mark have talked about this, and people say why door to door insurance salesman, they're just like, yeah, door to door insurance salesman. You know, came to our house one time, came to my house one time, and I assume they lived together because they were best friends and design partners. It came to
yeah,
the two
yeah.
guys' house, and you know, it's like it was really annoying. What an annoying thing to have to deal with. I mean, if you read Death of a Salesman, that guy seemed depressed.
You know, and it's just kind of funny to think about the prospect of a door to door salesman in like Oakhurst, like in the
Because
middle
there are
of,
only so many doors.
yeah, like that's like the middle of fucking nowhere, like deep in
Yes.
the woods of middle of nowhere, California. And so it's just like like, like that's got to be kind of a miserable salesman experience. It's also, it's like, you know, I don't think, like, short of like, you know, like Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts selling popcorn or whatever, like I don't think when I was a kid, I don't think there ever was like a door to door salesperson that came to our door. Did you ever have that?
No, I think mostly fundraisers. And we still get
Yeah.
that occasionally, like a
Yeah.
fundraiser, you
Yeah.
know,
And that's like
obviously
kid,
Girl
that's
Scout
just something for
cookies. And yeah,
kids. Like
that's right. Yeah, you give them money because you feel sorry for them.
the it's there's a there's a really great documentary called Salesman, about door to door
hmm
Bible salesmen. Um
I've seen Paper
and
Moon. I know this story.
uh and that movie is from 1969, that documentary, and like within the context of that movie, like of the documentary, it is, this is something that's going away.
like,
Like it's very clear that door,
yeah.
like, you know, the idea of door to door salesman is really going out in this documentary from 1969. So I'm just kind of intrigued. Also,
Yeah.
yeah, I, you know,
Like,
this has so little to do with the game.
I feel
The,
like for me though, like this is something I only knew really from like Nick at Night. Like you
right.
might see like on like a Donna Reed, like you know, a vacuum cleaner salesman comes in, like you know, puts a bunch of dirt onto the floor and then shows how great the vacuum cleaner is at cleaning it up. You know, but like yeah, door to door salesman already is sort of a shaky concept as of 1987, but that's good news because it barely figures into the game.
Yeah. You know, yeah. The only door to door thing I get here in Chicago is earnest volunteers for political campaigns.
Mhm.
And it's like, get out of here, you 20-year-old that wants a better future.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah, come on. What do you? I have a mortgage. I don't care about the future anymore.
um
I'm an
but
adult.
okay.
No, I mean,
So Jess, this game has a reputation.
yeah, funniest Space Quest.
It is I wouldn't say it has a reputation as the worst Space
No,
Quest.
I think it has the reputation of being pretty low on most people's lists. I find this interesting. Like to me, I don't know that I necessarily disagree. I don't think this is the strongest Space Quest in the bunch. I mean, I will, and we'll get to this when we talk about Space Quest 4 in a few episodes. We're doing all the Space Quests and then all the Space Quest fan games straight into mid 2026. So, you know, we'll eventually get to this, but I'm a weirdo who likes this game a little more than Space Quest 4, personally. But I know that that's not the consensus. I mean, this is a game that,
Where where is it? Because I was trying to find this, and I
yeah,
swear I read this somewhere, was that, like, somebody described it, like, um and I swear it was in one of, like, the collection, like, manuals, like, where it, like, does a short write-up, but I have this memory, but I can't find this, so you tell me. Is
yeah,
that I recall there's a description of it, which is, "This isn't we didn't feel that this was our best one. This is really Roberta Williams on a funny day." Is that something that's real, or did I just make that up?
that is something that's
I was
real.
trying to cite that
Let's
source, and
see
I
here.
could not find it,
I
and I
believe
know
that
that
is
you've
in,
been
yeah,
submerged in this as you, rebuilt, or, like, updated, your website, the virtual broom closet, celebrating its 30th birthday.
that's right. It
Um,
is in one of the Space Quest collections, and I'm looking at those
because
on
I'm
my
pretty sure
website
that was the collection that I
right
have.
now. But they definitely say something like this. Like they really diss their own game. This is a game that that the two guys, or at least whichever the two guys, probably Scott, who was if I had to take a guess just based on that tone, uh, was the one saying this. But yeah, this was sort of their knock against it as well. A game that maybe they didn't think was their strongest work either. And I've been, let's see here, where in the world does that
I was
live?
trying to find it. I was
Yeah.
trying to find it, and I
I mean, I
couldn't
think I
find it, and I was
parroted
just
this
like,
line on my website. I think like back in one of the earliest things I ever wrote for it, I wrote a piece like on the evolution of Space Quest over time, and I just like ripped that line off. I don't guess I said it. Maybe it literally says here. Although Space Quest 2 is still a great game, sometimes it feels more like Roberta Williams on a particularly funny
"Am
day than the two guys spent driving. Wait, okay, here's the question, Ben. Did Jess
am I citing
plagiarize
you?"
that? Did Jess plagiarize that? Or is that my original thought that now has been given back to me that I assumed Scott Murphy must have said about Space Quest 2?
All right, well, listeners, we lay this at your feet. Um, do you know the answer? Let us know on the Discord, or shoot us an email, or comment on our Spotify quest podcast at gmail.com is our
What if I'm
email.
the one who originated this, like, kind of mean spirited quote about a game I actually enjoy quite a bit?
But did you enjoy it at the time? Because I
No, I
remember
didn't. I didn't.
you, I think, because so, we, and when I say we, I mean myself and Grayson.
Of
Um,
course. I always assume
we,
you mean, yeah.
we tease you
Yes.
because when you streamed for the first time on your Twitch channel, when you stream uh uh Space Quest 2 for the first time on your channel, you're like, "Wow, this is actually pretty funny." And then you're like, "This is really funny. Like
I
this writing is
gushed.
really good." Like, and so, Grayson and I, like, if we're enjoying something, the greatest sin that anyone could commit.
It's cringe.
Yeah, it's cringe to admit that enjoyed art that someone put in the world.
Yes.
Um and
Yeah. Now that's a running joke between the three of us that just like, Space Quest 2 is the funniest game ever made because I was really high. But I'm not saying that to be a contrarian. I don't think I mean, clearly it's
no,
not the
no, you're
funniest game
definitely
ever made.
not. It
That's
it
Leisure Suit Larry. But I'll love them. But I do. Ben's giving me a look.
yeah,
Yeah. No, I
all
mean,
of them,
every single one.
including 4. That's one for the real fans out there.
Ooh. Oh man, we have fun here on Quest, the adventure game podcast. But no, I mean, I'm not just saying that to be contrarian. It is a game that I think at one time bummed me out. I felt like it was a little too planet based at the
Yeah,
beginning. Like I was stuck in this jungle forever in a setting that didn't feel particularly science fictiony to me.
yeah.
And then I felt like the more science fictiony part of the game on Vohal's asteroid
Is
was kind
the
of a
most
letdown.
boring.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the worst part of the game, weirdly enough. So it didn't feel very spacey to me. And I think that was as a kid what I was really missing. I wanted
right.
something that felt more spacey. Space Quest 1 certainly did. Space Quest 3 certainly did. Space Quest 2 is an outlier.
Yeah,
But
and yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say, as I've returned to it later in life, I really have appreciated that the writing is sharper. Like Scott Murphy is being
It
more
is
himself, maybe the most himself he ever will be in this series.
it is extremely sharp. It has
Yeah.
some really funny writing, and very acidic and
Yes.
kinda nasty, writing, and so this is interesting because I was revisiting, Space Quest 2 today to prepare for this, and, I had that in mind. I was just kind of like, is this because I was saying this to you before we started recording, Jess. It's just like I've been really trying to crack the nut in my head of what is a Space Quest game specifically. Like what makes
Yeah.
a Space Quest game a Space Quest game? Especially because I was thinking about that because you've been playing those the fan games on
Hmm.
your stream, and um the fan games, while like real obvious labors of love and entertaining and fun in their own right, they don't they don't quite feel like Space Quest. And of course they're not going to, because they're made by fans and they don't have the budget of
Yeah.
Sierra, and they're not, like, it's not their day job. um you know but I'm like, okay, well, what is it that makes kind of a space quest a space quest, especially because it's somebody that is kind of agnostic on space quest, not like I myself, like as I said last week, it's not my series.
Yeah.
um and one of the things I've realized, like, there's a bunch of things that makes a space quest, but one of them is that, like, kind of very dry sense of humor, which, like, a lot of fan stuff is a lot more zany. Um, uh, and it's also like kind of like nasty in Pitch Black.
Yes.
And
And something
if
I love about it is I think it also has like a real like one of us kind of quality to it too. Like I think that there's always a little bit of like a you and the narrator are on the same team. It's like the game almost assumes it's like yeah, you're thinking these kind of nasty dark thoughts too. We're just bringing you along for the ride with it, which I think is an interesting part of these early games.
Yeah, and it's like, and once the narrator like gets a particularly brilliantly performed voice, it does change the dynamic, which is again not a problem because, like, you know
Mhm.
it's an incredible
Oh
performance,
yeah,
especially in six.
one of the greatest narration performances in all of video game history, I think.
I mean, honestly, is there a better one?
Peter Dinklage, maybe in like the original Destiny release.
Yeah, yeah, everyone loved that.
Yeah, that was
um what a pull. I don't even know, like, that's a pretty good pull.
halfway through it. I was like, was it really Destiny? Am I thinking? Am I thinking of the right game here? But I'm now almost 80% sure it was.
My favorite narration, like when we played on my stream, when we played uh Quest for Glory 4,
Oh
we were
man,
playing a little bit of a game of uh w- what headspace is John Reese Davies in now, because you can tell, like, obviously all the, like, I assume all of the recordings weren't done linearly, like in terms of where you are in the game.
it's Sierra though. They literally might have.
I mean, certainly possible,
Yeah.
but, like, so you'll just hear clips where, like, he sounds like irritated to be doing this, and he's kind of annoyed, and then there will be like clips where, like, he's having fun and you can tell he's kind of enjoying, like, he's kind of feeling himself. and then like ones where he's a little sleepy. And
They're definitely one. I mean, yeah, you can pretty much easily group them into before and after lunch at a bare minimum.
right.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
so there's an interesting type of drama to, to John Rhys Davies's narration performance.
he is locked in a battle with Quest for Glory 4 at some level. Yeah, I mean, it is fascinating. So
So
that one's
that's
good
a
too.
an
That's a good
interesting.
performance.
It's a
Yeah.
very interesting performance. But yeah, like all
But
right. But
this
going
is something,
back
I mean, that's tough though. I mean, like,
to Space Quest 2 specifically.
yeah, I mean, and I think that dark acidic tone at some level, ironically enough, is a bit of a mismatch for Gary Owens. I mean, Gary Owens is
Oh, he has like this game show
snarky,
host voice.
but he's a
Yeah.
snarky game show host. He's kind of
Yeah.
like, the sort of game show host that you see on SNL sketches. Like he's like
Right.
a Bill Haydarian style
It's
game show
very
host or something.
it's like somebody talking to you in the voice of and a brand new car. Like
Yeah,
at that energy, but we're talking about these are later Space Quests.
yeah, and we'll get to those. Every single
Um
one of them.
uh-huh. And we have to talk about Shivers. So
Shiver me timbers. You remember
yeah,
Monkey Island? What a great game that was. Pirates.
never heard of it.
Have you ever played Pirates? That's a great game too.
I believe we've talked about this.
Have you ever played Spycraft, the great game? That's a great game.
Yeah, it takes some real balls. Takes some real balls to have the great game in your game title.
Hey, you know what? I've never heard
Spycraft,
anybody say it's
the
a great game.
great game. Like
Colon.
Jesus, the like I understand. I understand that it's not like that's not what it means.
But it's not like they didn't know that's sort of like a double meaning in that
Yeah.
context. Yeah, I mean, it's like, what idiot's going to go to the software store and buy some game that doesn't explicitly tell you it's great?
Have you played it? I'm curious.
No, I haven't. I bet it's great. I've heard it's really good. Mostly from it.
FMV.
Yeah.
It's a full motion video.
And you know, Ben, next semester I'm teaching a course on intelligence and covert action. So there's never been a better time to play
You're
Spycraft, the great game.
teaching a class on Sid Meier's covert action.
Have you ever played his Pirates game? It's really good.
All right, and scene. That was our little. That was a little playlet that we prepared earlier. I hope that you enjoyed it. Now, Space Quest 2.
Yes.
So,
Vohal's Revenge.
um, the so yeah, as I was thinking about like some of the components of a Space Quest, and I was revisiting Space Quest 2 today, I would say that is one of the so a thing when we looked at Space Quest 1 last week was, especially within the context of that, this was like there was only King's Quest before this. We hadn't gotten to Leisure Suit Larry and we hadn't gotten to Police Quest and all that. But within that context, that the only other Quest games were King's Quest, I was like, well, this has got to be like a breath of fresh air. Like the art is so like radically different, and there's like these touches of surreality, and like you go to like a used starship lot and blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and then like it does, like with that mindset that from last week when I revisited Space Quest 2 today, I was just like, oh, it's just back to the same palette that all the King's Quests use. Like other than the parts where you like at the very beginning of the game you're in um like a space station, which that section's really cool. And
That's
it's
what you
only like a couple screens, but you can walk on the walls like it's 2001.
the walking on the walls in that opening scene, like literally, Ben, I think if I had to jot down like the most jaw-dropping moments
Oh, it's
in
so
my entire
cool.
gaming life, like realizing that you can walk up to that wall and Roger just reorients to walk up it because he's in zero gravity. He can walk on the ceiling and everything. That as a
It is
child,
so cool.
yeah, I mean, it's unthinkable in a Sierra game, and then you just
Yeah.
do it. And it's wonderful. I mean, and yeah, that section looks good. Some of the stuff they do, like in the space station where they have like when you go into the room to meet with your boss and get chewed out, they have like some of the crew members that are in
Yeah,
the
in the foreground,
foreground.
and they look
And
really cool.
yeah, and that's something that like you didn't see a lot of in AGI games. It was real, and then you know, you get down to the planet, and yeah,
It's the
it's
very
the King's Quest color palette.
familiar, yeah, it's, like, very dominated by that bright green,
Yes,
that is just all over, the first, 3 or 4,
lots of
really the first 4,
brown.
yeah, like,
Yeah,
very it uses like and so that is a little bit, like, thinking about how, like, because your only frame of reference other than Donald Duck's Playground and The Dark Crystal for an AGI game is those King's Quest games. And it's like, what a kind of a like a strange breath of fresh air that really it's very different. And then you get 2 and you're just like back like in the middle of woods again. And you're like, "Oh,"
yeah,
"Oh, I'm in woods again. I'm just wandering woods, just like
yeah.
at the King's Quest."
And assuming I am the one who came up with this comparison of it being Roberta on a particularly funny day, um,
Damn.
part of me
Have
wonders
I
if
been thinking you like that was in a
I
game?
thought it too, Ben. I literally went through this a few weeks ago when I was compiling all these manuals for my website. I was like, "Where's the manual that says this? There's a manual somewhere in
I
here."
was looking for it too.
This wait, could it be in the Space Quest history that shipped with the collection? I don't think I would. I'm not. I wasn't that clever back then. This feels like something I stole from somewhere, and I want listeners to tell us where did Jess steal that from? I'm looking to see if it's in that Space Quest collection. Do, 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 do,
But
do,
anyway, so
do.
I'll
No, it's
I'll
not. It's not.
continue.
It's not. I think I just made this up and now accidentally thought that the
You
two guys said,
incepted it into your yeah.
yeah,
It's
no,
like you
wow.
had a dream that somebody was nasty to you and you were mad at them the next day.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
but,
I
it
wonder if that's what I was, like, trying to capture at a time when I couldn't express exactly why this felt so King's Questy to me. I mean,
yeah,
it is I mean, everything from the color palette to I mean, hey, a jungle's just a forest with more rain.
yeah.
That's why we call them rainforests sometimes.
Uh, yeah, that's exactly it. Now, it also, like, has, like, kind of bullshitty stuff that feels a little more at home in a King's Quest. Like,
Okay,
you have to like, wandering because I mean, you're the expert. You tell me. But Space Quest isn't really a stairs, challenge
it's not
series.
as much of a stare 'em up. I mean, they're in there,
Like,
but it's
in
not like the bread
3,
and
there's a
butter.
little
Yeah.
bit when you're walking on the
Yeah.
railing,
There's a little bit in this one where you have to like
and
after you kill Vohal, like there's a little diagonal like
yeah,
but not much. It's not the big
and
thing.
and so that this game and there's no because it's, like, in the desert in 1, like, the stairs up, like, to the top of the
Yeah.
cliff, those aren't
You could fall off of them, but that's not the point of that segment. It's
right.
not supposed to be difficult
It's
to
not a
navigate.
challenge, yeah.
Yeah.
The, like, and this has that you have to navigate, like, the roots, like,
Mhm.
around, like, this, venomous plant,
Yeah.
and, like, and that feels very King's Quest
That's
like, that's
that's like
because
a
that's
stair
essentially a
quest.
stair that's a
That's a
yeah,
kind of that's
and
kind of a
then
staircase. Yeah.
also, it has, it has a like, an underground multi-screen maze
Mhm. Mhm.
that, like, just kinda stuff that just doesn't feel quite as engaging as a lot of the material. Like, the puzzles in one are kind of fun. Um,
Yeah.
like they're kind of novel and interesting, like and different, and you have like multiple routes and stuff like that. And like a maze and like kind of a AGI bullshit navigation of an area isn't doesn't quite have it as much for me.
Yeah. But I mean, this one, I mean, even like the first screen, you have that like concealed pit that, if you just walk slightly in the wrong place where there's a sort of faint outline of what appears to be like a rectangle or something, there's much more of the you stepped in the wrong place and died
Hmm.
that wasn't as present in Space Quest 1 necessarily, but does feel, again, very staircase coded.
Yeah. So I mean, and, that's kind of like where like I don't think it deserves as nasty a reputation as you specifically, Jess, invented.
What if I am the cause and the solution to Space Quest 2's reputation problem? What if I seeded this idea this wasn't a good game, and now I'm in the process of rehabilitating this game 30 years later? Like, what if that's what has happened here, Ben?
I'm gonna love it when we do get an email and it's like, you idiot, it's in this.
Just talked about how he was this taste maker for 3 decades, and it's like he just stole it out of the back of the Space Quest companion.
Like, yeah, like it's in something, and it's in something that I saw, and my recollection of it is that it was in one of the collections.
I
But
thought it was in
now,
print. I thought it was like a little page that
yeah,
had like half, like a paragraph on each game in the
yes,
series, like with some quotes from the two guys scattered through it.
yes.
And one of them
This is
was
how I
this
remember
quote.
it. So this has to exist, unless
What if,
you and I are having a shared delusion.
which honestly, if I were going to share a delusion with someone, I feel like there's a decent chance it could be you.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it was like jewel case sized, right? Like it
yes,
wasn't.
it's jewel case sized.
Yeah,
It's square. It's like a
yeah,
square orientation.
yeah.
It's not like, yeah. No, Ben, I'm like imagining holding this in my hand and being like, I should copy that word for word onto my website and not say where I got it from.
Quest, the psychodrama podcast.
Oh, man, man,
This is tense.
this is, yeah, no, this is Lynchian.
but but yeah, I think that's I think those are like kind of my knocks on it. But as you said, the writing on it is much funnier. Like just the narration and
Yeah.
making fun of you. It also has, and we were talking about this before. Even though, like, just because it is playing, like, it's wading in some of the same aesthetic waters as King's Quest, it has some of the best art in
Oh, yeah.
AGI.
Mark Crow is on his game here. I mean, we rag on this palette feeling very King's Questy, but that in no way should suggest this isn't a fantastic looking game. I mean, Ben, you sent me the screenshot earlier
Yes.
today of
Yeah,
what
this
I
is
think.
exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
Like,
and
this is
everyone who's listening to this and who is familiar with Space Quest 2 knows exactly the scene we're talking about. It is when Roger leaves the caverns after meeting the Pinkins,
mhm.
the local residents of Labion, and he emerges from this cave that looks like some sort of alien creature, like retching out water in the form of a waterfall into a
Yeah.
pool. And it has like what we call them God beams
Yeah,
nowadays,
like God beams
God
across.
rays or
Yeah,
whatever.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got that coming. I mean, the lighting is beautiful. The shading is out of this world. It's evocative in a way that makes you think maybe it's like, wow, Labion is a place that has a history and like there are peoples who have lived here and
Yeah.
there's a culture and maybe a religion but none of that's part of the game. It's just like this is a scene you pop out on and it's just like Wow, that's gorgeous. It's
I'm
like,
I'm staring at it now, and all I'm thinking is Mark Crow did not need to go that
no,
hard. Like
this
he
is a
really,
scene where nothing happens. You get spat
yeah,
out here and
and then
walk
you
one
swim
scene to
away.
the right. Yeah, you know,
And I'm also thinking about it looking like it's like if you played this on like a contemporary computer, which I know you did, Jess,
mhm.
is that you'd have to appreciate this art because if you were playing this on your Tandy or on your PC Junior, it would draw like the outlines of everything and then fill in each individual
Oh,
color.
yeah.
Remember that? Is
Yeah.
there something that emulates that? Because I want to play an old AGI game. We might have
There
talked about this when we
there
recorded that
are
podcast.
emulation. I think there may be a toggle in DOSBox that can emulate an IBM PC Junior. I may A listener
Because I
can
would
tell us for sure.
love, yeah, I would
Yeah.
love to like see that, and then I would get bored after
Yeah.
a little bit.
It's
Like
like, I
I'm
need
not
to move the
waiting
next
like
scene.
30
Yeah.
seconds for every single screen. Are you insane?
I believe I
But
have done this before, and on modern systems, it draws it in much faster. I can't remember how I set it up to do it, if it was in Scum VM or elsewhere. But I mean, that was remarkably charming. I mean, as a kid, I thought it was an intentional choice to
I did
create
too.
that storybook
Yes,
feel. And again,
especially
I
for
feel
the
like we've
King's
had to have
Quest.
talked about
It's
this
yeah,
before.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
especially for
we
King's
covered
Quest.
all this when we talked about AGI.
Yeah,
Um,
but I loved it, and it was so incredibly charming. And to learn that that was just like, yeah, that was how we kept file sizes low. And, this is just a clever tool that happens to have a nice artistic vibe to it. But no, this scene's gorgeous. It's one of many gorgeous scenes in this game. I mean, Mark
yeah,
Crow is at the top of his game. Again, it's like Mark and Scott are both doing really good work in service of a game that I just don't know is quite as exciting as the game that precedes or follows it.
yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, you know what? Like it isn't quite the sum of its parts because it has like exactly like I'm just repeating what you just said. Like it has good like it has some really funny moments of writing. Like there's the moment where Roger passes out and he fantasizes that he's Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah.
Um like it has scenes like this one and it's like so it's like okay, well neither of them was doing a bad job. It just it just
It
isn't
never
quite as
quite
good.
clicks. It never quite clicks. I don't know if it's a pacing question.
It's
Maybe.
because they didn't use the insurance salesman. That would have
Yeah,
solved the problem.
that's right. That's right. What if Roger was like in danger of being turned into one of these insurance salesmen? I think it's time someone do a VGA remake of Space Quest 2, but in this version,
The
the insurance
insurance.
salesmen are front and center.
Well, all right. Like we were talking about this before where it I like I'm curious about like it always feels like a fan game is a little more zany
Mm-hmm.
than like the Space Quest games were other than 6. And so it's like, how would how would you make a because Jess, the insurance salesman, would be pretty zany, and I think that's taking me out of it.
Well, Ben, do you know like the fan game explanation for the insurance salesman?
Is there's one
There is one. This
in
is
which
like
one?
the key plot point of Space Quest Zero replicated.
Oh, I haven't. You just streamed that, correct?
I did, and I'd forgotten about this until I just streamed it. I'd forgotten this important plot point. But in that game, Space Quest Zero replicated by Jeff Stewart, 2003. Uh, Roger is he doesn't know it, but he has stumbled upon Sludge Vohal's plan to create a clone army.
Uh huh.
And at one point, Roger infiltrates his cloning facility. And again, not knowing who Vohal is, not fully understanding his plans through pure happenstance,
Hmm.
Roger swaps out the cartridge that is full of information about like military training and all this other sort of stuff uh, that would have turned these clones into an unstoppable galactic army. And he swaps it out for a cartridge he found earlier in the game on door to door sales techniques.
Hmm.
So he sabotages Sludge Vohal's army of
And this
clones,
is
and
before Rogue One came out.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, Rogue
This is
One is based in part on Space Quest Zero. I mean,
it's
if you
kind
watch
of
them
the
back to
plot
back,
of Rogue One.
yeah, if you watch them back to back,
Well,
essentially,
all
yeah,
right, no. You watch Andor, then
there
you
you
watch
are. You
Space
think
Quest
PlayStation Zero?
Replicated,
Yeah,
and then you watch then you watch Rogue
that's where it
One.
falls in the timeline. If you go to the StarWars.com holocron and look at the timeline of exactly how this
If you
falls,
go to Wikipedia,
if you go to Wikipedia, first of all, there's no Space Quest entry there, so someone please create,
yeah,
because Space Quest is clearly a Star Wars spoof.
yeah,
Those guys couldn't get enough Star
deserves in
Wars.
there. Deserves to be in there.
Yeah, you know what I say? May the farce be with you.
Oh, Jess, come on, stop it. That's too
Ben,
funny.
hey Ben, in space, no one can hear you clean.
Oh, Jess, I had to mute myself because I was yucking it up over here.
Yeah, we actually had to pause the recording. We're coming back now a full 9 minutes later.
Yeah, I was yucking it, and Jess was yumming it. It was a
And
terrible collision.
yeah, yeah, he was yumming my yuck. I was yucking his yum.
Yeah, it was
Those are terrible words when you use
terrible,
like
terrible,
that.
terrible. All right.
Space Quest 2, man. I mean, yeah, we could talk about certainly Infamous Adventures released their VGA remake of this in 2011. During this strange heyday for Space Quest fan games, you have this Space Quest 2 remake come out, immediately followed by Vohal Strikes Back, immediately followed by Space Quest Incinerations, followed not long after that by Space Quest -1 Decisions of the Elders. 2011, 2012 was this insane burst of activity in the community.
That's very interesting.
And that's when
And
the Kickstarter for Space
Space
Venture
Venture.
launches.
So something was in the air.
Something was in the air. I think that probably, you know, people had read that section of the broom closet about Space Quest 2, and
That
they're
must be
like,
it.
we really need to, like, they were inspired to create their own Space Quest, thinking they could do better than that. And in a lot of ways, I guess I'm responsible for those games too.
Yeah, you're responsible for so much, Jess. Now
It's finally someone realizes. I guess in a way, you could call me the executive producer of everything that came out after 1995 related to Space Quest.
yeah,
But please, yeah, I mean, and this is, I mean, it's an impressive piece of work. It's, it's a, VGA point and click. It tries to flesh out some of the stuff on Vohal's asteroid base a little bit. It adds some zany in there. I believe there's now a monolith burger. It's a good retelling of this story.
is that 3D remake of Space Quest 3 the most recent Space Quest thing?
Yes, the most, like, in terms of like full length
Fan
projects.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, fan projects. Yeah, the Space Quest 3D by Turbo Chimp would be your most recent. I think that's
Like,
2023.
and I guess also Space Venture.
Yeah, that's true. In
Yeah.
early access now on
Yeah.
Steam.
But anyway, do you have any final thoughts on Space Quest 2?
Well, I guess I would say don't listen to me or whatever Space Quest Collection manual said that this is it's not the game
This
I
is a
wanted.
Berenstein Bear situation.
It really is, except I may be both somehow. Both or neither.
You're a quantum singularity.
Yes. Oh man, this is going to, someone's going to write in, they're going to be like, dude,
It's right
this
there.
is like on the first page
Yeah.
of that manual. It's like, can you not read? And it's like, hey, you try reading a video game manual while you're recording a podcast with dozens of listeners.
A dozen. Anyway.
Gross.
Yeah, a gross.
We think it's a gross. Ben and I discussed this before the podcast. We weren't sure if that was a gross, but then we also didn't want to look it up. Now I think 169 is a baker's gross.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, Space Quest 2. It's a Space Quest game. It came out in 1987,
It's
and
the
that's all I
second
got
one.
to say about it.
Yeah, Ben hates it. Ben's been giving me this just like pouty face. He's like, what about Lighthouse? Hey, you want to hear about the dark bean?
I want I want everyone to know more about the dark being.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to describe the dark bean in a few words,
I'm not
like,
going to.
oh, now
You
you're just,
ruined it.
I mean, what would be your favorite puzzle?
Oh, there's too many to,
The
to
one with the
count.
lighthouse keeper. Like I thought that one, yeah, that was the one that
I
stuck
like
with
the
me.
sliding tile puzzle. Now
I like the one where you had to manipulate the various machines.
I yeah, I liked when you adjusted the lenses
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on the lighthouse, the
Yeah.
dark being.
Yeah.
Um, because here's the now, Jess. Here's the great irony of Lighthouse, the dark being, is that lighthouses bring light. So, of course, what would be a lighthouse's greatest enemy? A dark being,
Yeah. Ben,
because it's
if
a house of light.
that's yeah, no, I mean that'd be terrible. That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Ben, if you left your house right now and went down to Millennium Park, you could see a dark being.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to Quest, the adventure game podcast. I'm Ben. You can find me on Twitch as PS_Garrick.
And you can find me, Jess, at Decaf Jedi everywhere.
Please rate and review 5 stars only.
Only.
Only. I'm
The
looking at
same
screen.
rating you would give to Space Quest 2, 5 stars.
I'm looking at some screenshots of Lighthouse the Dark Being and thinking about all the fun I had. And you can send us an email at questquestpodcast@gmail.com. And be sure to join us next week when we talk about Lighthouse the Dark Being.